This is your source for genre news, album reviews, and commentary on all things heavy. The Metal Pod. Here are your hosts, Brendan Flum and George Fong.
Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the Metal Pod. As you can see, getting up there, man. Our second to last episode.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hasn't really hit me yet.
Yeah.
As you can see, we're obviously not in the studio and not on video as we would usually like to be due to a COVID related reason, which is kind of out of our hands. But so we're doing this one remote. But yeah.
Yeah, and we're all good. It's fun. We're making it work still.
Yep.
So
we've done the show remote before, so
doing it again.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is obviously our episode that's dropping before 420, so that will be the theme of today.
Right.
We'll get into that a little bit later, but we'll start with shirt stories as usual. George, what do you got on today?
I'm wearing my Hard Rock Cafe Los Angeles sweater.
Hell yeah.
It says, Hard Rock Cafe Los Angeles. And on top it says Save the Planet.
Huh.
So, the Hard Rock Cafe is heavily associated with metal.
Yeah.
Even though it's hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
Hard rock is like the ugly step cousin of metal.
Hard rock?
Yeah.
In general?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I like hard rock a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes more than metal.
All metal is hard rock, but not all hard rock is metal.
Right. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Like Stone Sour is hard rock.
Right.
But Slipknot is like metal.
Right.
Yeah, I actually went to a hard rock, the one in South Carolina in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
And inside of it was Trent Reznor's guitar during the Fragile tour.
Ooh.
And it was smashed.
Yeah.
And it was the design on the guitar was the flower field, that's on the Fragile album art.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. I'm only familiar with the front cover.
Okay. It's basically the guitar pattern was the Fragile album art painted on it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, 9 Inch Nails in the Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Did you go to the one with me in London? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wouldn't.
I think that was the first time I met my dad. We obviously all went to download together, and that was the first time I would be meeting up with him, so maybe I just went alone. But
I don't think you told me about that.
Yeah, I don't know. That was almost 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah, right.
But
did you see anything cool?
Yeah, the Hard Rock in London was actually the first ever Hard Rock, which is pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
And I obviously went to the one in Edinburgh with Chance.
There was one there too?
There was.
I didn't even know about that either till now.
And then I think you did know that I went to visit Andrew and Mitch in Paris for a weekend.
Okay.
And we went to the one there too. So
cool.
Got all the Hard Rocks checked off over there at least. Continental, indeed. There used to be one in Detroit, which was really cool actually, but it's not there anymore, sadly.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah. I am wearing, though, finally had to rep the best stoner band of all time, in my opinion, on this show, and that is Black Sabbath, of course, the creators of not just stoner metal, but metal in general.
Right.
Got this shirt on this is the last ever Black Sabbath shirt I got last time I saw them. This is the show where Chance and I hopped the fence.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chance bought a whole goddamn jersey, a Black Sabbath jersey they were selling there. So that's what Chance got. But I was like, no, I'm just going to get a shirt. You can do the jersey. But it says, War Pigs. That's a classic.
Right.
Robot Minds of Robot Slaves. Electric Funeral Fire. Electric Funeral is just a classic stoner, sludgy, very proto Black Sabbath song.
That's dope.
Yeah, love the shirt a lot. Definitely had to rep Sabbath on the show. Never done it before. So
what you're saying is that stoner and metal is intertwined.
For sure.
From the beginning. It has been.
Oh, yeah. And we will shortly get into that. But first, it's obviously April, so we do new month, new book every month here on the Metal Pod for our book club.
Right.
This week, we're actually doing a magazine. And that, of course, I think it's fair to say collectively one of our favorite magazines is Metal Hammer. Mm-hmm. It's probably the best metal magazine around nowadays.
Yep.
Really high quality stuff. We could probably flash a pic on the screen just so people know what it looks like. I got right here, though, the 2020 year in review issue. It's got a bunch of cool shit on the cover, and in it,
a bunch of artists.
Yeah, they cover so much, and that's why we love that magazine, because they're flying the flag very proud.
Right. When I first started at Impact, I thought I wanted to be a heavy metal journalist.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yep.
I was like, I'm going to be a heavy metal journalist. Surprisingly, I don't really write that much for Impact anymore, but when I did, it was all heavy metal, obviously.
Like for the content team? Or,
yeah. I would write metal articles, like all of it. But been occupied with the video stuff. So.
Yeah, I was actually on a content team my freshman year for a little bit.
Oh yeah, what'd you write about?
I didn't even do anything because I think you know this as well, and a lot of people know this, but I was actually a journalism major my freshman year.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't want my whole career to be based on writing because I fucking hate writing. So I switched to media and info, so here we are.
Good choice.
Yeah.
No, that's funny because I'll hear about a lot of people that are employed at Impact now. They'd be like, yeah, my freshman year, I was on the team, and I would be like, oh, what'd you do? And they're like, I didn't really do much, which is like kind of what I did at freshman year too. I'd go to like everything, but there was only a few teams that I would actually do stuff for, which is kind of funny. Yeah,
that's fair. And if I'm being totally honest, one of the only calling cards for me joining the content team, I remember like the station open house, in their presentation, they had like a meme from American Psycho.
Oh.
So I was like, damn, other people like this movie? That's pretty dark and fucked up, but really cool. So I'll join your goddamn
American
team.
Psycho, I watched this is kind of a tangent, but I watched this YouTube video of how American Psycho I watched this postmodernist deconstruction of...
Like how it actually makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the theory behind it.
Right.
I will send that to you after this.
Okay.
Have you read it?
I have seen some videos, but I don't know if it's the same one. But yeah, that's why I like that movie so much, is because you can view it in many different ways.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. American Psycho is a pretty metal as fuck movie, if I say so myself.
And it has Christian Bale, Batman.
Who's the fucking man. Yeah. So, I'm not a journalist anymore, but metal news.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm kind of a journalist now. So I think the biggest piece of metal news we got to cover is the fact that I just straight up lied to everybody last week when I said that you and I would be taking over the Hours of Power.
That certainly didn't happen.
Yeah, that did not happen on the 15th of April, but I can almost guarantee that it will be happening on the 22nd of April. At least that's what Lilith, the host of Hours, told us.
Right. And then after that, I will be the one that's taking over forever.
Right. That part was true.
Right. Yeah. So I'm still the host, or
will be.
I'm the interim host.
Right.
I've been so.
But yeah, next week on Thursday, April 22nd.
Yes.
George and I will be taking over the Hours for the whole 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. 4-hour slot again.
The whole slot?
I think so. We haven't hashed out those details yet, but
either way, you're going to hear our stuff on the Hours.
Yeah, and it's going to be sweet. So yeah, that will be on, of course, I'm just going to say the whole thing right now just so no one misses it. WDBM East Lansing, Impact 88.9 FM. And if you aren't as old school as I am with the radio right here in my room, you can always... Yeah, we have an app, and we have a website that you can stream on. The app is available on any app store. The website is obviously just impact89fm.org.
Yep.
Next Thursday, April 22nd, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
You hear that, old school? You better be listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just heard it twice, so tune in. I guess the only thing I can say is, the Metal Pod is ending, but I will be taking the legacy onto other things. So I guess it's safe to say that evil really never dies. it only gets transformed. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
The evil will never die.
Good.
And with that,
Yeah.
more metal news.
Speaking of dying, though, wow, that was a terrible transition. I'm laughing, but I don't want to be laughing. We sadly learned that just an icon in the rap game, Mr. DMX, passed away. Yeah,
That's like his thing.
yeah. He's not metal by any means, but he went fucking
Makes
hard.
heavy music.
Yeah,
He yells.
Yeah, and he started a goddamn giant ass mosh pit at Woodstock
Yeah.
'99. So,
I saw that. Yeah, you saw that clip?
Yeah,
that was cool.
It's hype.
Yeah, he is in an episode of Rick and Morty.
Is he? Which
Yeah.
one?
I
didn't
forget,
know
but
that.
it's the one where the devil has a shop, like
Okay.
a corner shop.
Okay,
I don't know. His song is in it.
Okay,
not him.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's a pretty iconic scene though. Like right when it happens, everyone's like, "Oh, it's DMX."
Yeah,
So that's cool. But yeah, rest in peace to him.
yep,
I'm gonna be honest with you, I only know like one DMX song, but
yeah. He
he's
is
highly
like
influential.
right. He's got some bangers for sure. There's like 2 really big hits that everyone knows.
Right.
I tried to dig a little deeper this week just because I want to see what else he had to offer, and there's some killer shit in there. To be honest, so yeah, rest in peace, like you said. But yeah, if you're listening to this, that means there's 2 new albums out, which is pretty cool. I guess we'll start with the more metal one, and that would be Cannibal Corpse.
Ooh.
Yeah, Violence Unimagined. That dropped on, or will be dropping on Friday the 16th. So yeah, it'll drop the day we post this, but we're recording this beforehand, so I can't speak to how good these albums are.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to.
How many human skulls does it take to make a Cannibal Corpse album?
Well, have you seen the cover of this album?
No.
It is pretty fucking sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm expecting it to be your just typical kick-ass Cannibal Corpse album.
Right. Just a fun listen.
Yeah. And then on a whole other end of the spectrum, Greta Van Fleet. Gotta give them a shout out. Of course, they're from Michigan.
Yeah, I guess.
Are you not a fan?
I dislike them.
You dislike Greta Van Fleet?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I already have enough Led Zeppelin in my life. I don't really care for them that much in the first place.
Okay.
So Greta Van Fleet is just like more of something I don't like.
Right. And I know you're not a big Led Zeppelin fan, so that makes sense. But they're from Michigan.
Yes. Yes. Sure.
And there's a poster of them on my wall right now.
How would you feel if someone said to you that Greta Van Fleet was their favorite band?
I could see it happening. They're one of the like newer good bands, like a good mainstream rock band, like people know who they are.
Let me put it this way. How would you feel if someone said that like Godsmack was their favorite band, but Alice in Chains already existed? That's kind of how I feel.
What? It's like 2 totally different sounds.
Okay, how would you feel if someone was like
They're similar. I get what you're saying.
very similar? Anyways,
But-
new album, Greta.
Huh?
Greta has a new album.
Yeah, it's called The Battle of Gardens Gate. This is only going to be like their second full-length album, so
Good for them.
yeah.
They're killing it.
Yeah, they are. So I guess I'll just leave it at that because George is not having it right now. So yeah, you ready to get into some more 420-esque kind of shit?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I guess the best place to start is the start as always.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about, George is going to be talking about prog metal a good amount. I'll be talking about like stoner metal. But I think the roots of all this kind of root in psychedelic rock of like the 60s.
Right.
So what do you know, if anything, about that era?
The 60s?
Yeah, like psychedelic rock. Not metal by any means, but had a big influence on metal.
Jimi Hendrix,
Right.
clearly. Vietnam War.
Yep.
Woodstock.
Yep.
Let me think what else. If you watch Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
that'll give you a pretty good history lesson of like
Exactly.
mid 20th century America.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of other bands that were big then.
I could read you a whole list right now if that helps you.
All right.
Because I wrote some down just
Sure.
to, for the sake of doing it.
Right.
I'd say You mentioned Jimi Hendrix, of course. I just mentioned Led Zeppelin. They obviously have some pretty psychedelic shit. I'd say this kind of crosses over into prog as well, but Pink Floyd is
Right.
probably
Bigger in the 70s, started in the 60s.
right. Exactly. The Moody Blues are a very underrated one. That was the band me and my dad were talking about with. I could have seen them front row,
Oh,
but
yeah.
didn't,
yeah.
and now I'm pissed because they're sweet. Frank Zappa, of course, he's the man.
Okay.
He's kind of proggy too, so
Yeah.
that works out. Jefferson Airplane,
I haven't heard of them.
they do like Somebody to Love, White Rabbit.
Okay. You like Frank Zappa?
I like Frank Zappa, yeah.
Okay.
Why?
I've heard like a lot about him, but I haven't listened to any of his music.
Yeah, it's pretty out there.
Yeah,
I would say.
that's basically.
He's a great guitarist. He was a great guitarist, though. So, speaking of Forrest Gump, though, there's a lot of Doors songs in Forrest Gump. And I mean, Jim Morrison's on my wall right here, too.
Right.
So I love the Doors. Tame Impala, Andrew talked about last week. They're like a modern psychedelic band.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with like Animal Collective, if you know who they are.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them, but Tame Impala I just love.
There's a lot of psychedelic sounds in pop nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
Like a lot of influence. I mean,
Yeah.
you hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll get into that.
Right. Cream is a huge one. They're
Okay.
yeah, you know Cream.
Yeah.
Like they're Ginger Baker, their drummer, once famously said, people say we gave birth to heavy metal. If that's the case, it should have been aborted. So, I mean,
That's pretty funny.
it is like, I don't know. They're definitely like metal before metal kind of band. So
Okay. That's like for me, that's like a good example of that too is like Johnny Cash.
Sure.
Like metal before metal.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he's a country singer, but
He's got that badass attitude. Yeah, for sure. The 13th Floor Elevators, if you've ever heard of them, they're kind of a smaller, like, don't want to call them a one-hit wonder, but kind of.
okay.
Even the Beatles had some,
I was gonna say,
like the second half of their career, they were a boy band, and then they were like, let's take drugs, and
right.
then start releasing good music. So,
Obviously, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
yeah, of course.
They're all like, or John Lennon was like, no, it's not about acid, but it's like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't.
A Girl with Kaleidoscope Eyes. Like, come on.
Yep.
What do you think that's about, dude? The Grateful Dead.
Yeah, that's a big one, right? I
Yeah.
haven't gotten into their discography yet. Like, I haven't dug into it yet, but
Yeah, I don't know.
the Grateful Dead Bears are like a big symbol of psychedelic.
Dude, and you're obviously from the Grand Rapids area. I see that fucking bear on like cars, like car stickers, like every fucking time
Yep.
I go over there.
Smoke shops, it's all over the place.
Yeah, they're obviously very influential.
So they're a psychedelic rock band.
Yeah, they're like a jam band, which
Okay.
they'll play like super long songs live.
Okay.
And I do want to see their like newer version live just to experience it, because it's them. But like you said, though, not one of my favorites by any means.
Okay.
The Yardbirds,
I heard of them.
a big one. Yeah, the Yardbirds are sweet because it's got like Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck.
Oh.
Who's the other big one? They had like 3 very iconic guitarists who went on to do other things. Like Jimmy Page obviously went on to
Queen.
form Led Zeppelin.
Oh.
Brian
Okay.
May is the guy from Queen.
Yeah,
But dude,
I knew that.
that's like the golden era of like guitar heroes. So like, yeah. The Byrds, like not the Yardbirds, but the Byrds, that's another band. And then another kind of modern one is that I like is Flaming Lips.
Oh, yeah.
The Flaming Lips, they're pretty cool.
Heard of them.
Yeah. So, yeah, these bands all, I mentioned a lot of, metal related things in there, so there's definitely some roots in that. But kind of going on at that same time. And, when I think of psychedelic rock, I think of like just one time period, for better or worse. Like I know, like I said, Tame Impala's a more modern one, but
Right.
whereas this next genre I'm about to bring up, like prog, like that's been going on the whole time.
Right.
And
All psychedelic rock is prog. But not all prog is psychedelic rock.
Not all. Yeah. Well, yeah. They go hand in hand in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
They're both very like 420-esque genres.
Yeah.
I know you're about to get in some prog metal, but I'm just going to rattle off some old prog bands.
Sure.
Just to, like I said, Pink Floyd is probably the...
Long songs, concepts, like 18-minute songs with like solos and slow parts and...
Right.
Yeah.
And Pink Floyd is sweet. Rush, you know how much I love Rush.
Yeah.
They were like...
Very progressive.
Yeah, and they kind of, they were metal for their time in a way, and then they got more commercial, whatever, the whole story, but...
And they're Canadian.
Yeah, which is sweet. But yeah, that, like, if you ask, like, people from Tool and Dream Theater, who are obviously some pretty big prog metal bands, like, they love Rush.
Right.
Everyone fucking loves Rush, but Coheed and Cambria is another kind of modern one. But sticking to the old stuff, I guess, like Yes, Jethro Tull, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, King Crimson.
Okay.
Genesis.
Yep.
You could even say like ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, had some shit if you know who they are. ELO. You would definitely know, like Mr. Blue Sky.
I've probably heard of them.
Yeah.
Or I have heard of them. I probably know them.
Yeah, you definitely would know a song if you heard it. Alan Parsons is another guy from back then.
Okay.
Porcupine Tree is another kind of modern one, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are like prog rock, and I know I said like Tool and Dream Theater, but like you want to like in terms of prog metal, like who is your shit?
So like actual prog metal?
Yeah. You're saying Tool and Dream Theater aren't actual prog metal?
No. I mean, like you threw in a bunch of like.
Yeah, I had to like give credit to those old guys. You know?
Right. Yeah, and I like old stuff too. Obviously, like Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And you can hear like them really take it to the next level in terms of complexity and heaviness.
Yeah.
And then it's a natural progression, really. And a lot of the bands that I really love. Like a lot of the bands that I appreciate musically all have prog influence. I feel like.
Yeah. There's definitely progressive elements in a lot of different things.
Yeah. And I'd say I guess some of my favorite prog bands are like Ne Obliviscaris.
Right.
Is probably my number one.
Yeah.
They're like there's two categories of prog metal that you kind of see, in my opinion.
How so?
Like on the one side it'll be like Ne Obliviscaris, and on the other side it'll be like Gojira.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
It makes total sense.
Gojira makes songs that are like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. And then Ne Obliviscaris will make songs that are like 10 minutes.
With like different parts to different songs and like suites
or
and opuses and shit.
Yeah. Or they'll like take a song and break it up into 3 parts and like do part 1, part 2, part 3 in 3 different songs.
That's like all those prog rock bands I just listed, like they all did that shit.
Yeah. So it's like and then on the one side too is also Meshuggah.
Right.
Which is I grew up with Gojira.
Yeah.
They make songs that are like 4, 5, 6 minutes, but they're extremely proggy. They don't really do a lot of crazy solos.
Yeah.
They don't play any instruments that are like bass, drums, and guitar. They just play like the typical. Versus Ne Obliviscaris, they have 2 vocalists and a violinist.
Right. Which is really cool.
Yeah, which is very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like the new, what I would describe as like the new era or the new sound of prog metal is like a band that is like pretty much extreme. It has like hardcore influence, and they just do a lot more, or they'll bring in like extra instruments.
And who is this?
Huh?
What band is this?
I'm just saying like what it kind of sounds like.
Okay,
like like Ne Obliviscaris or Fallujah.
Yeah.
They'll have like weird, like instrumental breakdowns in the middle of the song kind of deal. Like
Right.
We've all heard it.
Yeah.
A couple other ones though that I really enjoy are I've talked about it before. Acid Witch.
Yeah. Acid Witch is prog.
Or I guess I'd say they're more stoner, but they're kind of proggy in the sense that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
They're literally their sound is literally like if a witch played metal.
Okay.
I don't know.
That sounds like just typical stoner rock to me.
Yeah. That's true. Rebel Wizard.
Rebel Wizard. Lots
Rebel
of wizards.
Wizard. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. Witches and wizards. That's like what.
Yeah.
They're definitely proggy. Their vocals are really awesome. Electric Wizard.
Right.
That's
Witches and wizards, dude.
Yeah. Electric Wizard is kind of in between, I'd say. They sound like really dirty and heavy, but their songs can be 8 minutes long and they'll have, I don't know.
So like, yeah, like when I think of, like I said, there's prog elements in a lot of things. I always think back to like And Justice for All, because that is, it's Metallica obviously, but like it's them being as progressive as they can be.
Yeah.
Like very complex song structures and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can see elements of prog in a lot of things.
Yeah. And prog is definitely a genre where you have to earn the riff, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Versus regular metal, it's like right
just
away.
Just coming right at you. Yeah.
But with prog, it's like it'll have an intro and a build up, and then it'll go into this crazy climax and then come back down. And
it's definitely like the thinking man's metal genre, I guess.
Right.
Because someone once said that of Tool, like they're the thinking man's metal band, which they kind of are.
Right.
And like I told you, that one.
It's just kind of funny to say.
No, it is. And like I said, like on one of our past episodes, I said when I listen to Tool, it's like I have to go eat my vegetables,
Yeah. It's like you don't want to do it, but it's good for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I appreciate it so much.
Right. Have you heard of a band called Augury?
Yeah, actually. I think you might have told me.
Yeah, they're Canadian. This is an example of like a prototypical, another example of a typical prog metal band. They have they're very fast. They have a female opera vocalist and a male harsh vocalist, and they harmonize together.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's like, do you like Flesh God Apocalypse?
They sound way too computerized.
Yeah, I know.
Because
they're more on like the deathcore side.
Yeah, I would like Flesh God Apocalypse if they actually hired an entire symphony to do it.
That would be sweet.
But you can tell it's programmed, like a keyboard did it. But in theory, I like Flesh God Apocalypse.
That's another thing. Like I feel like prog is a metal genre where a symphony can really vibe with it. Have you seen Dream Theater's concert where they play with the symphony?
I think I have, but I can't, off the top of my head, I don't really remember.
It is so fucking sick. And as you know, Metallica's done S&M symphony stuff.
Yeah.
Other bands have for sure, but it's just prog is that genre that can really work with it, I feel like.
Symphony X.
Yeah.
I mean, you can even put Nine Inch Nails in the prog.
Yeah, they're
category.
Pretty progressive for sure.
Their sound is, it still resonates.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about all I got for prog metal.
Cool. You want to flip this coin right now? I feel like this is the shiny side of the coin, and then we're about to go to the filthy.
Yeah. That's a really
stoner doom sludge.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay.
I'll let you take that.
All right. I mean, stoner metal is obviously a very broad umbrella term because the way I view it, it's like if I can spark up a joint to it, that's stoner metal or rock to me.
Right. Stoner also a big part of it is the vocals. Mm-hmm. It sounds a lot like very I don't know. Yeah. Someone that's stoned out of their mind and is just kind of very lazy.
Yes. Yes.
The more stoner also too, it sounds to me really dirty.
Yes.
Like the sound itself, it sounds like it was recorded out of a shitty orange amp from 1965.
But that's why I love it.
But it adds an element of authenticity.
Yeah. It's so simple yet so effective at the exact same time. I love prog, I do, but give me stoner and doom every day.
It's definitely two sides of this. That's a great way to put it because prog is the opposite. It's we're gonna mix the shit out of this until it sounds perfect.
Yeah.
The producer is a member of the band. They'll mix the shit out of it. Everything sounds perfect. And then stoner, it's we're going to record this with like an old whatever.
In one take.
Yeah. Not mix it at all.
Right.
It still sounds great.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if you're going to credit any band with, I mean, I'm wearing their fucking shirt right now. Like,
right.
Black Sabbath, like, kind of started all in a way.
And Ozzy is like known for taking every substance on earth and still being alive.
All of the drugs. Yeah, literally. He's literally a mutant. Like, I don't know how he's still alive.
Yeah.
But he is. Black Sabbath for sure kind of kickstarted all way back before anyone did.
Right. And we talked about the influence of substances in not just metal, but music in general.
Right.
And that's why we're talking about it because, you know, I guess marijuana specifically has a really large part to play with metal and is definitely ingrained in the culture of metal.
Exactly. And that's part of my one hot minute, actually. But we'll get into that later.
Okay.
Black Sabbath, though, also gave birth to, like, Doom. Like, they were pretty much the first ones. If you're cool, I'm going to talk about Doom real quick. Before
I like Doom.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like Doom? It's just, if you like riffs, Doom is probably the genre for you. Like, I don't know, Doom and thrash. Like, if you like riffs, there are two opposite ends of the spectrum. But if you like riffs, you'll like them both.
Yeah.
Doom is just slow but not
methodical.
Like, when I say slow, that sounds like a bad thing, but I mean it in the best way possible. It's like you can really bang your head to it, and it's really riffy.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, do you know an album called Epicus Doomicus Metallicus?
I do not.
That is Candlemass.
Okay.
That's their first album.
Candlemass is fucking sick.
They're definitely my favorite Doom band.
Really?
They're going to be in my top 5 for sure. Yeah, if Black Sabbath was the one who created Doom, Candlemass is like the one who perfected it, because no one was calling it doom metal until that album came out, because obviously it's just like epic doom metal is like the translation of the album title.
Yeah.
That came out in the 80s, but that was just so dark and like heavy as fuck.
Eerie.
Yes, it really is. So Candlemass is the shit, and some other really old doom metal bands like that are still really good. And some of these, obviously, they can cross over into stoner as well. Like, doom and stoner go really hand in hand, just like prog and psych do. But like Saint Vitus, they got their name from a Black Sabbath song. Like, you'll see so much Black Sabbath influence in these bands. But Trouble is another really good old one. Who else? Cathedral. They're on the older side. I'm sure you know, like, My Dying Bride.
Yeah.
Reverend Bizarre.
No. I do know My Dying Bride, though. They're cool.
Yeah. Skepticism is another, like, funeral doom band. And when I say epic doom metal by Candlemass, like I said, doom metal has, like, 10 different subgenres within itself.
Funeral doom.
Yeah. Funeral doom is, like, got harsh vocals.
Yeah.
Whereas Candlemass, like, they're
very
epic.
Clean.
Yeah. That's
very
like
epic.
It's operatic. Yeah. In a way.
Yeah.
Typo Negative, you could even say, is a doom band.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Like, they've got some really.
It's also the imagery is a big thing.
Yes.
Like
black.
Yeah. I'm depressed. I'm like a vampire from 1762.
Right.
Kind of like the vibe of these guys. Like, I don't really move too. Like, I don't really move too fast. Like.
Yeah. Like, when I think of doom metal singers, I think of, like, Candlemass. Their singer's name is literally Messiah. That's his first name. He's just a big dude.
Okay.
And so, like, same with Typo Negative. Peter Steele was
huge guy.
A big guy.
Right.
Like, not like.
And he looks like a vampire.
Yeah. Like, he's just tall.
And, like, jacked.
He was sweet. Another doom band, though, of course, is Sleep. And that's a nice segue into stoner right there.
Yeah, perfect.
Sleep is like, in terms of pure stoner metal, Sleep is my always go-to.
Okay.
And my pick of the week is by them, so I won't spoil that just yet.
Cool.
But yeah, Saint Vitus is another crossover band like that. What about Caius? Do you know Caius?
I don't think so.
Do you know Queens of the Stone Age?
Yeah.
So Queens of the Stone Age, their singer, Josh Homme, or however you pronounce his last name, I never know how to say it, but He was the guitarist for Caius.
And they're a stoner?
They're like, yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to call them like, they're definitely really heavy. Like desert rock. Like you want to go out in the desert and like get stoned and like just fuck around in the desert kind of thing.
So that's why metalheads like Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah, they're exactly. Do you not like Queens of the Stone Age?
No, I'm not saying I don't. I just I couldn't get into them.
I got you. I mean, I wouldn't call them metal by any means.
They're good.
I like them a lot. Yeah.
Cool.
You mentioned, of course, Electric Wizard.
Yeah.
They're like
very stoner.
Yeah.
But also kind of elements of doom as well.
Yeah.
They're also very electrified.
Yes. Electric Wizard. That is one of my favorite band names.
Yeah.
I think it's just sweet.
Very distorted guitars. Yeah.
Yeah. And you and I were talking last night about our companion playlist for this episode. You called my picks a lot more earthy, while yours would be more spacey.
Spacey, yeah.
And I mean, Funeralopolis is probably going to be on that playlist. I feel
it's a very good in-betweener.
Yeah. But that song is about like the Earth dying and like people needing to like go into space to find a new world.
Yeah.
And the world is like Funeralopolis.
But it's also like the vocalist, the vocal mic sounds shitty.
Yeah.
And it's dirty and he's singing really lazy.
Yeah.
And the guitar is like very electrified, but also kind of shitty sounding.
Yeah, but it, like in the best way possible.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
like right in between like ours.
Yeah, exactly. And that song is like 9 minutes long. So that's pretty proggy. So you definitely see some overlap between all these genres.
Right.
Another band, of course, is Clutch. We saw them at Download. They're pretty cool.
They're more like a rock.
Yeah, their old shit is like their self-titled album Clutch from I think it's 95. You would love that shit. Is
it hard rock kind of? Or
it's pretty metal. Like Spacegrass is on that album. Big News is another really good. It's a very bass driven album, so it sounds more metal than some of their modern stuff.
Were they at Chicago Open Air?
They were.
Seether and Korn. Were they on that day?
I think they were.
Because I remember trying to get into them to get hyped for that. That festival.
I have a poster here in my room, but I'm not gonna take the time to go look at it. But
I think they were there with them.
I'm pretty sure they were.
So that wasn't even the first time that we saw them together.
No, yeah, dude, that's so crazy.
I know, right?
So many more like stones were turning over right now.
Right.
Monster Magnet's another band.
Okay.
I think I brought them up last week. Yob, do you know that band?
I've heard of them.
They've got like my favorite song by them is kind of Funeralopolis-y. It's like very long and just heavy.
Okay.
Fu Manchu, I've talked about before.
Yeah.
And then what about Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats?
Uncle Acid sounds familiar.
Imagine if Tame Impala was metal.
That would be really sweet because I like Tame Impala.
Yeah, their Uncle Acid is so fucking sick.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I got in terms of bands for each of these genres.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, Acid Witch definitely fits in the stoner. Mm-hmm. They have they sound like if like a witch from a swamp made metal. They have like these weird like sounds that sounds like, I don't know, like potions.
I was actually really into them freshman year because...
But you don't like the vocals.
I don't. Just hear me out for a sec. Have you heard of a band called Mutoid Man?
No.
I saw, what about, obviously like Danzig.
Yeah.
And Corrosion of Conformity.
Yeah.
All those bands I just named were on the same tour together.
Oh.
And Acid Witch was there. And I was like, This is so... Like, it kind of makes sense. Like, COC is very sludgy, kind of hardcore.
Okay.
So, I mean... But yeah, Acid Witch, it's just the vocals turn me off. I haven't listened to them in like years though, so maybe I'll give them another try.
They have, really harsh growls, but they're not like rich, like Opeths. They're like very lazy.
There's another prog band right there.
Yeah.
Opeth.
They're on my list too.
Okay, cool.
Their Opeth is a good mix of polished proggy, but also dirty or like acoustic.
Got some death metal influences.
Yeah,
for sure.
But they also have like folk and shit.
Yeah,
which I love on their older stuff.
Yeah,
and I'll get more into them. They're a part of one of my segments.
Right. We obviously saw them at Download as well. I
I was not impressed. And I'm a big Opeth fan.
I know you are. And that was my first time seeing them, so maybe that's why I was impressed. I just didn't really know what else to expect.
I was also not a happy camper at Download at that time because it was like...
Pretty miserable.
Pretty fucking bad. Like, mud. Yeah. It's hard to get around. Like, it's just a bitch to walk around.
Yeah.
That's when I was still having, like, issues with my my foot. I had foot surgery.
Oh, really?
So I was just kind of, like, pissed.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds terrible then.
It was raining. It was cold. I couldn't sit.
No. Yeah, literally.
Everything was expensive.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, that's what music
Still the best concert experience we've had.
Yeah, for sure. But when Opeth came around, I was like, I want to sit down. Yeah. But you can't sit down anywhere because it's mud.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Acid Witch, all their song titles are pretty, like...
Yeah.
Like, Witch's Tits is one of their song titles, or, like... Broomstick Bitch. Broomstick, yeah. So, yeah, I'll move on. Rebel Wizard, obviously, they're very polished.
Okay.
420 band. Mm-hmm. Acid King, a dirty stoner band.
Lots of acid and witches and wizards.
Blotted Science.
Harry Potter would like this episode.
Yeah, basically. Have you heard of a band called Blotted Science?
I think I saw you listening to them on Spotify or something. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk more about them later. They're a supergroup.
Okay.
And
we love our supergroups.
Yeah, they don't have a vocalist. So they're like a straight instrumental prog metal band.
Okay.
Supergroup.
Comprised of who? Do you know?
I don't know if I do know, but I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you.
Oh, is it part of the trivia?
It's it's part of my pick of the week. I'll just tell you when.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Can't spoil the trivia.
Exactly. And then I've talked about them before too, but ISIS.
Yeah.
They're a post-metal.
Not the Islamic State of whatever the fuck it is, but there's a huge misconception.
ISIS, the metal band.
No, yeah, because, I mean, I've listened to them before, and someone's like, you listen to ISIS? And I'm like, you're a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, no, they're cool. They're actually on my top 5 too, but people categorize them as post metal.
Yeah,
but
I could see that.
Yeah, they make concept albums. They have like 10-minute songs. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's songs with no vocalists. They're really cool. Post
metal's like some pretty 420.
That's why I put them on here. Cause
same with like drone music.
Yeah, basically what we're getting at is like kind of like spacey, like heady songs that you wouldn't play around people.
Right.
Kind of more like sit in your room in the dark and listen.
Exactly.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously Opeth. So
Yep.
Should we move into the segments?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I just talked for like 2 minutes, so you can go first.
No, it's fine. So our episode companion playlist this week is going to be based on a lot of these artists we're about to name. Our top 5 this week is just our favorite metal bands to listen to on 420.
Yep.
I mean, I've talked about all these bands already, but no particular order. Black Sabbath, right. They're the fucking godfathers. So
Sweet Leaf.
Exactly. Sleep. I mean, why would you not listen to Sleep on 420? Like, that's like their day.
Right.
Clutch, I've got.
Cool.
Candlemass is definitely my favorite pure doom metal band.
That's like what I would listen to if I was having a bad experience and I was like, I need something to pull me back up.
Candlemass?
Yeah.
The song I included on the playlist is like very dark.
I thought I listened to it and I loved it.
Like the main lyric is "Please let me die in solitude."
Perfect.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's one of the heaviest songs ever written, I would say. And then Tool. I mean, like, dude, I don't know. I feel like
if you want to quit your job and work and own a vineyard, then you should listen to Tool.
Exactly. And I feel like Tool would probably be the best band to see when you're under the influence of something.
We have seen Tool, and
multiple times.
I saw them at night. Yeah, they had a cool visual. Yeah, actually, their visuals were actually very dope.
As you know, at Download, I stuck around for Slayer's whole set instead of seeing
Tool.
Yeah, and then we left early because that was was it the first day?
That was I don't know.
It was either it was the last day.
I was going to say, it was the first or the last.
We were just so exhausted. We were like, we can't eat our vegetables right now. Like, we gotta.
I stuck around for Tools, and it was way better than Chicago's. I was there.
I also missed Chicago, so I didn't see that.
Yeah. I was there for their whole Chicago set, and I was like, okay, this is fine. But their set in England at Download was so much better.
Yeah, I heard it was really good.
And I didn't say the whole time either, but I wish I did. Like that's like honestly like a regret. Like I wish I stayed for the whole thing.
You missed Stinkfist? Dude.
Anyways, yeah, no, they were good.
Did they have the laser beams and shit?
Yeah, they were sweet, and they had like the aliens.
Yeah.
What era of Tool would you recommend for the 420 listener?
Ooh.
Because there's a difference.
There is. As you know, Undertow is my favorite album, just because it's the bassiest and just the most metal, in my opinion, and the other ones are more prog. So, honestly, on 420, if I was going to listen to a Tool album, it'd probably be Lateralis, because the album cover is trippy.
They're using like the Fibonacci sequence to write music and shit,
which is insane.
Right.
Like, that's one of the coolest songs, in my opinion, just because of that. Like, who the fuck does that? Let's write a song based on the Fibonacci sequence.
It's like unbelievable.
Tool does that. Yeah, so that album is like, it doesn't lose anything between prog and metal. It's like equally both, I would say.
Yeah.
So
very polished too.
Yeah, but really good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
That's my top 5.
All right. Mine in no particular order. Number 1, Nabla Viscaris.
Okay.
Definitely listen to Portal of I. The first time I listened to Portal of I under the influence, I was like, I felt like my ears were melting.
Yeah. No, same.
They do this thing where they'll do Counterpoint. I don't know if you know what that is.
I only know a few songs by that.
No. Counterpoint is like music theory.
I don't know much about music theory.
I wouldn't expect you to. I'm not like a musician or anything, but basically what counterpoint is in music, it's like two melodies that play at the same time that don't follow each other, but they go well together.
Okay.
So what Nabla Viscaris will do is they'll play two guitars at once during the melody, but if you listen closely, the guitars are playing like two different riffs at the same time.
Okay.
And it sounds really fucking dope.
That's cool.
Yeah. And Opeth does that too, and they've talked about it.
Right. And they're on your list, of course.
And Opeth will be the next band on my list. They are very proggy. They'll do that same thing with Counterpoint. They'll have like two guitars going at once that sound like they're playing the same melody, but they're not if you really listen. And it's just really, really cool. And like you wouldn't notice it unless you're like really by yourself listening and trying to dissect the music kind of deal, which is why they're 420 bands.
Yeah, and like I just gotta say, Michael Ackerfeld is like one of my favorite guys, just in general. Like he's a cool dude.
Cool.
He's a great guitarist. He can sing you to sleep. He can scare you to death, kind of thing. Like
great range.
Yeah,
insane range.
He's the man.
Yeah, he's great, and he's the main guy at Opeth.
Right.
So like he's like the main songwriter, and he's the singer.
Right.
And one of the guitarists.
Do you know Bloodbath? The band.
Yeah.
They're sweet.
He used to sing for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Not my trivia question though.
Oh, it's not, is it?
Don't try to get me. Next on the list, Electric Wizard.
Okay, fair. For sure.
Obviously.
Yep.
And then Isis.
Dope Throne is the name of that album. I was trying to think of it the whole time.
What?
That Funeralopolis is on.
Dope Throne.
And that album cover is...
It has a wizard smoking like a pipe on the cover, which is like...
so sick.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Can't get more stone than that.
So heavy.
Isis, each album is very, very conceptual. Mm-hmm. And then, the last band on here is Blotted Science.
Okay.
Which is... I got the band... it's a super group, like I said. Let me get the members. Ron Jarzenbeck?
Don't know it.
Hold on.
Ron Jarzenbeck.
The original drummer is Chris Adler.
Of Blotted Science?
Yeah.
Really?
Chris Adler. But
wow.
But I'm
sold.
He dropped out.
Okay.
And then it was replaced by this guy named Derek Roddy, who was on Nile and Hate Eternal.
Oh. Nile has some pretty sweet drums, so
yeah,
that's the only reason I would listen to Nile.
Right.
In all honesty.
Alex Webster on bass, who plays bass for Cannibal Corpse.
Alex Webster, yeah, of course.
Yep. And then the drummer now is Charlie Zeleny, who, he replaced Chris Adler basically.
That sounds like a pretty good supergroup, if you ask me.
Yes. So yeah.
And they're prog.
They're prog metal, yeah.
Okay.
They have their first album is called Machinations of Dementia, which yeah,
Sweet.
Machinations of Dementia.
Okay.
Which is my pick of the week, so I guess we'll just slide into that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's my pick of the week. Yeah, so the cool thing about this album is, I got the quote here, 75% of it was written utilizing the circle of 12 tones, which is another music theory thing.
Right. That I'm not aware of.
That you're not aware of. It's basically like, there's like 12 tones, and you have to play every single tone before you can play another one again.
Okay.
I don't know. Basically what I'm saying is the album is like composed using this tonal method.
Okay.
So it sounds different than what a typical metal album would sound like.
I gotcha.
It follows like a strict kind of rule.
Okay. That's cool.
That's like the shit you find in prog metal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That sounds like the epitome right there.
Right. But yeah, I guess what's your pick?
My pick is, as I mentioned earlier, George and I will be on Hours of Power next week.
Right.
Hopefully. And as of right now, at least, this is what Lilith told us. And just to explain to everyone out there who hasn't listened to Hours before, the way the show works, typically from 10 to midnight, it's just not random songs, but like they go genre by genre.
Right.
Kind of thing. And then at midnight, they always play like a featured album. And Lilith told us that at least she thinks the featured album for when George and I do it, and I'm totally fine with doing this, is going to be Dope Smoker by Sleep.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So Dope Smoker is literally just one song, but it's an album. Like the song Dope Smoker is the whole album.
Right.
Because it's literally an hour-long song. So it's, if that's not...
When your friend says you can only queue up one song because you listen to a bunch of metal bullshit, that's the one you queue up.
Absolutely.
You get what you want for the whole hour.
1 hour later. But yeah, shout out to our other study abroad buddy Kyle, because he actually bought a special edition version of this album when we were in London. It's like an orange disc.
Yeah. I remember him buying that.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And that album cover is literally one of the sickest album covers I've ever seen too. Like that and Dope Throne by Electric Wizard are two of my favorites of all time, honestly.
Kyle is a very special person. He listens to a lot of unique music.
He does.
He really, really likes fashion. Like
Yes.
he wears like Margiela and like Versace and like
I remember he made
Rick
us
Owens.
He made us go to the like fashion district in London.
And he bought a Rick Owens garment. He bought like Rick Owens pants, and I'm like for like $700.
Oh,
which he budgeted for
right
on the trip.
I budgeted for one album.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I budgeted for food.
Yeah, exactly.
And he also like smokes more weed than anyone I know.
Yeah.
So
Dope Smoker makes sense.
yeah, very unique guy.
Yeah. So
Shout out to him.
like I said, we're going to be, maybe playing Dope Smoker on Hours next week. So
Yeah.
you can either save that listen for then, or if you can't tune into the show, just spend your 420 doing that. It's a good
Self-care, man.
Yeah.
Take a day to yourself.
Take an hour to just unwind and go smoke some dope
Exactly.
with Sleep. And that does not mean that I'm telling you to go do drugs, but that is definitely what it sounded like. But Sleep is the one, if anyone. So
All right. I know my pick of the week was Machinations of Dementia by Blotted Science, but it was also Orchid by Opeth.
Opeth, yeah, that's a good
which
album.
relates to my trivia,
Okay.
which we'll be moving to now.
Okay.
So, yeah, my trivia. Opeth. On the cover of Orchid, there is a flower on the cover, which is an orchid.
Okay.
And it's a real photograph. It's not like a graphic. So my question to you is, where did Mikhail Akerfeld purchase the orchid from that was photographed on the front cover of the album? What country?
What country did he purchase it from?
The orchid from that was actually on the front cover. Where did it come from?
My immediate reaction said Japan, but I also know that Opeth is from Sweden. So
Correct.
is it Sweden?
No.
Is it Japan?
No. It
Is
was
it,
ordered from the Netherlands.
Okay.
Come on now. They're known for their
You
orchids. They're
always
right by
ask me these fucking questions, dude. Like,
I know. It's ridiculous,
Like-
right?
Marilyn Manson debuted at #1 in Portugal. Like, I don't fucking know that.
Or, yeah. That one was pretty convoluted.
Oh my god. All right, whatever.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Get ready for this. Who is coughing at the beginning of the Black Sabbath stoner anthem, Sweet Leaf?
Very iconic.
Very iconic.
I'm going to say they're bassist.
Do you know his name? Also got a poster of him. Not just him. I got a Black Sabbath poster in my room as well.
I don't know his name. I'm going to say the bassist of Black Sabbath. That's my answer.
It was actually the guitarist,
Tony?
Tony Iommi.
Was it when he... Okay, I guess give me the backstory then.
He was smoking a joint, and they recorded him coughing. And hence, stoner metal was born.
History was made.
Exactly. And
Wow.
here we are 50 years later still rocking out to that fucking song.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it is great. That song, that's going to be my song rack because it's just, it's a love letter to weed.
Right.
That's
funny because I see Doom being the logical progression from Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Because I sent you that meme.
Yeah.
It's like they have a lot of Doom elements,
Yes.
but the core of their sound is really like jazz, like
It is.
heavy jazz and rock.
Their drummer is like a jazz drummer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They're not really, they're a party band,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But Candlemass is not a party band.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Candlemass is like you're going to sacrifice goats at midnight.
Yeah.
But, Black Sabbath, you throw it at a party, everyone's having a great time.
Yeah.
But they have Doom elements.
Yes, for sure. They're party doom.
Yeah.
Hence
but
another subgenre of doom metal.
Party Doom?
Party doom.
Who's Party Doom?
Black Sabbath.
Besides them.
Dude, I don't know. I just made it up on the spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's out there.
Right. All right. 1 hot minute.
Yeah.
Go first.
Okay. Before I do my 1 hot minute, I guess I will ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you know the song by Tool called Third Eye?
No.
It's on Enema.
I probably do.
Yeah, you probably definitely know it. It's got a spoken word intro by, do you know who Bill Hicks is?
The actor?
He was a comedian in the 90s.
Okay.
He died in the 90s at some point, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, he was like a comedian and like philosopher that Tool, like when you open the CD for Enema, like his picture is on the inside cover because he had died recently.
Okay.
And Tool was like huge fans of this guy.
Okay.
Because his comedy was like very alternative, I guess is a good way to put it. And like I said, he was kind of a philosopher.
Okay.
But he did this like stand-up bit, and Tool took the audio and used it as the intro for Third Eye. And I guess I'm just gonna say the quote and not say anything more because I think it just says it perfectly.
Okay.
So the song opens with Bill Hicks just saying, "See, I think drugs have done some good things for us. I really do. And if you don't believe drugs have done good things for us, do me a favor. Go home tonight and take all your albums, all your tapes, and all your CDs and burn them. Burn them. Because you know what? The musicians who've made all that great music that's enhanced your lives throughout the years were real fucking high on drugs."
True.
And then,
Music is drugs,
yeah,
if we're being honest.
I mean,
Every musician that I love made their music while on the influence of drugs or was heavily influenced by drugs.
right.
Personally.
Great art is made from
Pain.
and, self-medication for lack of a better term. And I know I wasn't going to say much else after that because it pretty much just says it in itself. But
right. And we're not advocating doing drugs, but it's just an observation.
It's like don't shit on people doing their own thing.
Right.
And
they're aware of it too. I mean,
yeah.
Look at Korn. Look at
anybody.
Literally, pretty much anybody. We don't even have to say it. But if you really know, you know.
Chances are there is some piece of art that everyone listening to this podcast right now, like there's some piece of art that they like that was made under the influence,
right.
You know? So
and wouldn't be there without those substances.
Right. And that's why Tool called the song Third Eye, because Third Eye is like your gateway into another world kind of thing.
Right.
And Bill Hicks said that drugs are like a squeegee on your third eye. It like opens it. Yeah.
That's funny.
And like the main lyric of that Tool song is prying open my third eye.
Oh, cool.
So I just wanted to say that.
Sweet.
Yeah. How about you?
My one hot, I guess all I have here is weed. Okay. This is all I wrote down.
Okay.
I guess I shouldn't be too explicit. I've been explicit already pretty much in the episode.
Yeah, that's fine.
But, I'll just do an extension of what I just said.
Yep.
Like, music and drugs really do go hand in hand because music is about the emotion. Mm-hmm. You listen to it and it makes you feel something. Mm-hmm. And you might not be able to describe what that feeling is, but you don't need to because you feel it. Kind of the same way with drugs. You take it and it makes you feel a certain way, and it may be indescribable, but you experience it and that experience is real. Mm-hmm. So music is kind of like a drug in the sense that it alters your state of mind.
Yeah.
And
you can get addicted.
Addicted to it in a very healthy sense.
Yeah.
Like being addicted. There's way worse things to be addicted to.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. It's... I guess to round it out, weed and music are a very good pairing.
Oh, yeah. That's why every time you go to a concert, there's smell of kush in the air.
Generations of young teen degenerates have been pairing weed with music with great result.
Yes.
That's about it.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Prying open my third eye. The end.
Song work?
Yeah. What's yours? I already kind of said mine was Sweet Leaf.
Right. My song rec is In Mist She Was Standing by Opeth.
Yes. That song is...
You know that one?
I do.
Oh, it's so good.
It's a banger.
It's good because it's heavy, and then the acoustic guitars come in, and they're also heavy.
Yeah.
But they're like really good, but they're not at the same time because they're acoustic guitars.
Right. But they, like you said, with whatever music theory shit you were talking about earlier, they like pair well together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Perfect. So, I mean, mine's Sweet Leaf by Black Sabbath, of course.
Right.
That's like...
Yeah. Don't.
OG stoner anthem right there. Ozzy just wrote a love letter to marijuana, and we got Sweet Leaf.
Right.
I love you, Sweet Leaf. The end. Ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, so hate to finally say this, but next week is going to be our farewell episode of the pod.
Right.
And wow, right when that came out of my mouth is when it really hit me.
It's like I was telling Flummy, it's like the farewell tour that Slayer took. You know, we are saying farewell, but we're gonna keep touring for as long as we can on this farewell tour.
They did like a 3-year farewell tour.
Exactly, all over the world.
Yeah,
not just in America. They went from America to Europe and back.
Yeah, they were in Michigan. Like, I saw them 5 times over the course of that farewell.
Yeah, in one tour.
Yeah, exactly, which is insane. But right. It is our farewell next week.
Yep.
So
it'll be all things metal pod, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be a metal pod episode for sure. We'll have something special planned, as we always do. You're not going to want to miss that, obviously. I'll say it again. You're also not going to want to miss me and George on the Hours of Power next Thursday, April 22nd.
There you go. Starting at
10 p.m. Sorry, I couldn't. I don't think we could do a whole stoner episode at 10 a.m. I don't know about you.
I don't know. We'd have to take a nap in between.
Yeah. But again, that is on Impact 88.9 FM WDBM East Lansing.
Yep.
If you can't tune in that way, like George said, there's an app that's available on all the app stores. There's a website, impact89fm.org. Yeah, we're going to be taking over, and it's going to be, I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Me too. Fans of the show, longtime listeners, I think you'll enjoy it too.
Yeah, I agree.
Be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And then, after that, catch us next Friday for the farewell episode. 20
episodes, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Double platinum, 20 years.
Double platinum, baby.
20 years in retiring.
Yes, sir.
You know what? Yeah, I guess last thing I'll say on the farewell thing, like, this is not the last time that you will hear me and Flummy on the airwaves.
I plan on going to Hours again when George is hosting.
He's gonna be a guest in the Hours. You're gonna keep hearing me. Trent's gonna be on. Young Buck, teach him the ropes.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be playing the most filthy shit for him that he's never heard before, and he lives with me.
Yeah.
So he hears the filthy shit.
Right.
I'm gonna make him listen to the most filthy shit he's ever heard in his entire life.
Yes.
And he's he's a very Christian person.
Yep.
So I'm gonna make him listen to the most like anti-Christian shit ever and make him love it. So definitely not the last time you're gonna be hearing me and Flummy together with microphones. Mm-hmm. So
indeed. And I guess last thing I will say is have a fun and safe 420, everybody.
There you go.
Yep. Metal. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Metal.
Oh, you hit a stoner metal.
Metalopolis.
Metal, dude.
You've been listening to The Metal Pod, a production of Impact 89 FM. Our thanks to Impact's General Manager Jeremy White, Station Manager Amber Kienutsky, and Programming Director McKenna Lowndes. Tune in next time for more updates on all things metal. The Metal Pod.